Hey guys, Jinlox here, back with our blind playthrough of Disco Elysium. I wanted to be mean. I wanted to be like, oh, it's back to the game where people huff their own farts and tell you they smell wonderful or something like that, but we'll see. Okay, anyway, let's talk to this chick first. Last time we talked to a racist lorry driver. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway.
Welcome to Frit. Feel free to look around or something. Everything is out on the shelves.
She returns to her magazine. So are all these people going to be caricatures? Anyway.
What's that magazine she's reading?
Before we go on, what is this Frit?
I don't know. Frit?
What is Frit?
A 7 to 11 grocery store.
Okay, why is it written with 3 T's?
I think they think that the extra T makes it funkier. It doesn't.
Okay.
The story goes that normal Fritta, with 2 T's, a men's workwear shop in Vredefort, was already taken. So when Fritta Retail Inc. grew into a multinational corporation, they had to add an extra letter to avoid trademark infringement.
I'm going to be honest, if leveling up the encyclopedia means more of this trivia shit's going to be given, then yeah, we're going with something else. What magazine are you reading?
You mean this?
She looks at the cover boasting a colorful photo of 2 girls kissing. I mean, I guess.
This is Pop Stars. It's got, like, famous people in it. It's not for sale.
Okay.
Looks like it also has something called Police de la Mode, featured on page 34. This speaks to you.
Okay. Stupid famous people. I approve of this, very futuristic. Tap on the girls kissing. Forget about all that. What's this fashion police feature? Point at the cover.
It's where they rate different outfits famous people wear. It's kind of funny. They're kind of mean. It's about who's the most stylish.
Who's the numero uno guy in there right now? Does he look like this? Point at yourself. I bet your hat would take the prize. So who's the most stylish there? It can't be anyone from here.
Benita. She's a model. Usually it's a model. Or a singer-songwriter. Or a model.
Okay.
We are not the fashion police. We're the real police.
Let's proceed. I have some questions for you.
Okay. I'm not really supposed to be chatting to anyone, but...
Can you tell me anything about the dead body?
I don't really know anything. I mean, I know it's there, but I haven't seen it, so...
Did you know the man who died?
Not really.
Not really? Does it mean you knew him a little?
No. I didn't know him at all.
How long has it been here?
I don't know, really long.
What do you think happened?
I don't know.
No need to worry. It's just standard procedure for us to ask around. If you hear anything, let us know, okay?
Okay.
Thanks for your help.
Uh-huh.
Brushes a strand of hair off her face, tries to return her magazine. Leave. Cool. Informative. What is this?
You see several packaged raincoats fill a low shelf beneath a display of croissants and juice bottles. The raincoats are transparent, except for the big Fritta slogan on the back.
Okay.
The packages are small, discreet, sloppily stacked, making them easier to take unnoticed. No need to worry about knocking over a display.
Okay, well, steal a raincoat, I mean, if we're gonna be a good guy, I would not do that. What's that? Point to the raincoat.
What is what? It's a raincoat. If you want to buy one, then it's only 4 real.
Taps on the glass counter. Raincoats patiently await purchase.
Her attention is drawn to the raincoats. Stealing one undetected will now be more difficult.
-1 asked what it is. Whatever. I mean, I wasn't gonna steal it anyway. Although I thought about it because it was a red check, but...
The tear machine stands in the corner. A sign says, 1 bottle equals 10 cents.
What is this machine?
Oh, that's the tear machine.
Yes, but what is it?
It's a machine for tear. You know, you find tear outside, like bottles or whatever, and put it in the machine, then it gives you money.
Right. Wasn't there something about a plastic bag and bottles? How do I pick up tear for the tear machine?
You need a bag, I guess. We used to have some, but we gave them all out, so...
Oh, so you have to find a bag first.
Feel free to use it if you find a bag, though. I'm sure there are some out there. Somewhere.
Okay. Good enough.
A small cabinet on the wall is filled with various medicine bottles, nasal sprays, and blister packs. They all bear the Saint Baptiste Pharmaceutics logo.
Okay.
Their logo is the bloodless rose, pure white, untouched by harm.
Okay.
Just ask me if you need anything from Saint Baptiste. We don't stock prescription meds, but we do have Nosafed, Duramine, Magnesium, and Hypnogamma.
What do those products do?
I don't know. Let's see. Nosafed is a nasal spray. Duramine is a really good painkiller. Magnesium is a dietary supplement. Hypnogamma is...
She stops.
I don't really know what Hypnogamma is. I guess it makes you feel less shit. It's recommended to use after lots of partying, studying, or exercising.
Can you be a little more specific?
No. Sorry. I'm not like a doctor or anything.
Nosafed heals +1 health. Duramine heals +3 health. Magnesium heals +1 morale. Hypnogamma heals +3 morale.
Thanks, tutorial agent. And there's Manny. Who is Saint Baptiste?
Saint Baptiste. You know, the pharmaceuticals company.
You want to get up in my lap, Mr. Cat, or he's here. He was here earlier because he wants kitty food, but they just had kitty food like an hour ago. Ooh, be careful, my cat. You are super duper cute.
Saint Baptiste Pharmaceuticals. The one that sells meds out of Saint Baptiste. That one. There.
Yeah. I'm all of a sudden more interested.
She is right. Saint Baptiste,
Not,
the company,
not in the
derives
game,
its name
just
from
in the
Saint
cat.
Baptiste, the city. Itself so named because that's what it is. A rare case where that really is the full etymological history. As far as almost anyone knows, at least.
Why don't you lay down, my Manny? Lay down, my little baby cat. Lay down. Alright, good enough. Leave. Whatever this is. Cigarettes, maybe?
A colorful display of cigarettes and alcohol bottles line the shop wall, inviting you closer.
Yep.
The bottles wink at you in the light.
Whoa,
The smokes, too,
my silly
glitter
cat.
in their
Oh,
red.
careful, careful, careful.
It's like looking into a kind of heaven. Your knees are weak.
Indeed.
There, in that dark green glass, all in vain. The great flowing river of warmth, wine, alcohol, beer, alcohol, love, alcohol.
Yeah. Okay, anyway. I'm in heaven. I need it all so bad. Say nothing, just take it in. This is not a good place for a recovering addict. Why don't you lay down, my little one? Lay down. There you go. Nice and easy. Much better. So aren't you happy? Aren't you happy now that you lay down? Okay, we're gonna... Whatever. We're gonna try and recover from our alcoholism. Not a good place for a recovering addict.
Guess not, no.
Looks the goods behind her, adjusts her hat.
I'm obliged to inform you that both alcohol and cigarettes damage your health. But I guess you already know that.
Tell me more about the products, I guess.
The pale aged vodka is special, I guess. It's stored in pale for a couple of years, which makes it super expensive and super strong.
What is pale?
You know.
She shrugs, uninterested in explaining it further. Okay, what will consuming this stuff do to my body?
I mean, I already said it'd hurt you. I don't know what else they do.
Stares at you, unsure.
Substances give powerful bonuses to your main stats at the cost of damage to your health or morale. Cigarettes raise your intellect while damaging your health. Alcohol raises physique while damaging your morale.
Okay. I doubt it's permanent, though.
Use medication, like Nosafed and Magnesium, to counteract the negative effects of substances. Note: consuming substances can have unforeseen consequences for you.
It's probably more things later, right? Does it... I don't, and that's the thing, like, does it change the story? Probably not. Does it change events? Probably, right? Do you sell any under-the-counter vices?
No, Frit only sells legal drugs, like the law says.
Okay, leave. Good enough. Low in health, put points into endurance. Sure. We do still have that skill point. Right, my little Manny? Come on, guys, I gotta feed my kids. You hear that? They're secretly working in there. So there's the strike line.
A lorry stuck in the traffic jam. This big, heavy Grad-made machine is well kept for such an old machine.
Look in the window.
The windows are clear. They've been recently washed. You can see a lorryman's cabin with personal belongings, stickers, insignia.
What kind of stickers and insignia?
The driver has adorned his space with a substantial collection of peculiar paraphernalia. Proclamations about honor, strength, and purity are glued to various panels.
Are they all racist? Is that what the deal is?
A large metal pendant hangs from the rear view mirror. The pendant features a sun crowned with wavy rays. It is the seal of Royalist era Revachol.
What about the back seat?
The back end of the cabin has a small perch to sleep, large ashtrays. There are several suns and wheels sewn into the curtains.
Okay.
A book with ragged edges catches your notice. The front cover features a large, muscular man. The title reads, Man from Eamdal in the Lost City of the Pygmies.
Okay.
Racist nationalist paraphernalia. Not unusual in this part of town. This is our guy.
Yeah. See, oh yeah, racism is bad, nationalism is bad. You know what's interesting, though, is all these people, you have all these leftists, right? And I'm trying to use the word leftist, not liberal, because liberal and leftist are not necessarily the same thing, right? But leftists, apparently they did some sort of study where they looked at the group preferences for people based on left-right affiliation, right? So leftists, and I don't know this. I just saw a YouTube video of people talk about it. So leftists were, generally speaking, prioritized out-group relationships over in-group, right? And so I think they said something about like, you know, immediate family, distant family, acquaintances, coworkers, strangers, like in descending order, all the way out to like bacteria on rocks and stuff like that, right? And leftists had a out-group preference over, so they would prioritize the welfare of out-group as opposed to in-group. So strangers, they would like if there was food, like only a limited amount of food or whatever, they would choose to give it to strangers instead of feeding their own family. And people on the right were the opposite. They would choose their families, their in-group over others. And that's why you see all this, like, all the Antifa, all these leftists, they are anti-nationalist. Like, nationalism is considered a dirty word. They're like, America is a criminal empire and all that shit. And it's just like, if you wonder why society is breaking down, that's the reason, right? Because they're, you know, it's the same thing. Feminists want to tear down capitalism, tear down the patriarchy, tear down America, blah, 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 right? And then things are starting to fall apart, and they're like, why is it so bad? I don't understand. Why, you know, let's tear down capitalism, but why can't I afford a house, right? Bring in all these foreigners, give them a house. Oh, why is the price of houses going up? It's like, they don't understand. But the thing is, though, that all of these, generally speaking, any successful group of people, because, you know, last episode we talked about like tribal preferences and all that stuff, you have to prefer the in-group. You have to stick with your own tribe in order to be successful against all the other tribes, against competition. Right, Mr. Cat? And so you basically have to be nationalist if you want to succeed, because the ones that are going to be successful are the ones that prefer the in-group. And that's the problem. And I took this psychology course in college, and something that stuck out, and still I remember today, is they did the study of monkeys, or they noticed that every once in a while monkeys would leave. They would leave their tribe and try and join another tribe. And what would happen is their lack of an in-group preference, their preference for the out-group, would cause their own death. So they would try and join this other tribe, and that tribe would be like, no, we don't, you're an outsider, we don't like you, and now we're going to beat you to death. And you could see it these days, not that graphically, because we're all allegedly more civilized, but at least more recently, there was this one black American that went to Ghana. She actually left. She's like, America's terrible, I'm going to leave, I'm going to go to my people. So she moved to Ghana, and they hate her. You know, there's actually a few. There's actually multiple examples of that happening, specifically black Americans going to Ghana. And those people, at least the most recent example, she was like, I'd rather, you know, I want to go back to America. You know, they may be racist, but at least they have electricity and no bugs and stuff, and clean food and all that stuff. And it's like, why don't you stay there? You know, it's because if you hate it so much, you're going to hate it no matter where you go. You're going to complain no matter where you go. And it's like, is this the person? Are they critiquing others of their in-group? Are they critiquing black people of their own race that act like crazy people or whatever? That act like criminals? No, probably not. I can't say for sure her, but again, back to this idea of you have to apply the standards. You have to have morals if you want to be able to apply. If you want to apply a moral principle, which is don't be racist, you have to have morals first. Yeah. Let's just get through this. You know.
Likely, yes. This guy's proud of who he is. Drapes it all over his machine.
Again, I mean, we're huffing our own farts here. Like, I'm sure people play this, because I've thought about this stuff a lot, and I'm smart, but I'm not the smartest person. You know, I'm willing to be wrong, but again, it's some of these basic things that, like, this is all pseudo-intellectual bullshit. It sounds smart, but when you actually think about it, it's, like I said, it's bullshit, right? Like, and I'm sure people have accused me of being racist before. Okay. You know, am I racist? Am I not racist? I don't know. Like I said, it doesn't fucking matter anyway, because like I said, people talk about color blindness. I, for the most part, I judge people based on their actions, not on their race. But the problem with the leftist ideology is they judge people based on race. If they didn't, they wouldn't be trying to help black people, right? Because and when I say leftists, I mean typically leftists, I'm thinking like white leftists. More often than not, white leftist women. They're the worst because leftists are the true racists, right? You don't help people, you don't try and help people that you think are capable. You help people that you think are incapable. You know, you're not gonna, if is Mr. Universe still a thing? You're not gonna help Mr. Universe lift his groceries into his vehicle if you think, you know, you're like, oh, hey, Mr. Universe, like, you don't need help moving your groceries, you're fine, right? But a dude with one arm, you think they're incapable, they're going to go help them. You know, that's why these people are, like, maybe they don't, I mean, I have no idea whether they actually hate black people or not, leftists, I mean, but they are definitely racist against them. At the very least, they think they're inferior. Otherwise, they wouldn't try to help them. It's almost like the Victorian era style of racism where they look down their nose at people and they call everyone, boy, fetch my fainting couch. Like, that's, you know, whatever. Anyway, my personal, ironically, is Malcolm X. Malcolm X had one of the most fantastic quotes where he talked about, he basically says he doesn't believe in Republicans, Democrat. He believes in liberal, conservative. And he basically says, black people are fooled by the liberals because they think they're on their side. I'm misquoting him here. I'm paraphrasing, but he was basically like, black people love liberals because they think they're on their side, but, you know, conservatives are the wolf that are bearing their fangs at you, but liberals are the fox, and black people think their fangs are actually a smile. Right? And it's, you know, it's funny because how many of the people that claim to be on the side of all these leftists that claim to be on the side of the black people have heard of that quote? How many are, you know, learned enough to actually have read Malcolm X's stuff? You think this guy, the writer for this game, you think he's read Malcolm X's stuff? Do you think he's read or listened to any of Martin Luther King Jr.'s speeches? I mean, I'm not going to say he hasn't, but generally in my experience, all these people that are anti-racist haven't done the basic stuff. You know? All right, anyway.
There he is, in front of Rita, smoking nervously, hoping it's over.
Okay. Good enough. Lori's probably stored fuel here. Now they store booze. There's some change on the ground. I don't know why it's in yellow, though, but anyway. Alright, so this is the strike. We could talk to this dude, I guess, or we could... Oh, hey, there's a bottle. But we don't have a bag. We could talk to this guy, too. So we got another level up. 2 skill points. 29 minutes. Let's talk to this guy. Let's keep... Scab asks a man with jolly eyes, tilting his head. Oh, wait, there were stairs. Oh, we can go up here. Interesting. Scab, I believe, is someone that works during a strike, like a strike breaker. No, that's not true. Strike breaker is the one that beats up the strike workers to intimidate them into going back to work. And when I say beat, I mean, like, hurts them. Like the mafia.
You're hazy on the notion of a scab. Smells like politics, though. Maybe it's got something to do with the flask he reaches for from time to time.
What exactly is a
A
scab?
kind of a worm, content with mere survival. They come, they want to do our job for shittier pay, screwing over both themselves and us. Everybody loses.
You know, that's not necessarily true. Usually, because I've had the option to actually do that, at least in the medical field, and they're paid better. They have to be. If they wouldn't pay less. Hold on, where did they all come
Beats
from?
me. Somewhere in the ground, I think.
You don't seem to like them
Gotta be
much.
bloody stupid or freaking evil to scab. Or I guess scared, maybe. But scared of what? Of who?
Looks at the mask, squinting his eyes as if trying to ascertain what they're scared of. And the other thing is, as far as like the unions and strike breakers, you have all these. Yeah, people think unions are fantastic, and the thing is, they can be, but collective bargaining in general is fantastic. But the problem is, everything is a trade-off. Everything's a trade-off. Even unions, if they're not corrupt, and eventually they'd become corrupt, right? even if they're not corrupt, they're just like anything else. They're a hierarchy as well, and they typically protect the higher, the tenured people in the union while screwing. It becomes like a pyramid scheme, right? They screw over the people at the bottom, just like everything else does. They, because medical personnel have unions as well, and hearing stories from some of the people that I've worked with in the past, there would be, a union would require, or the hospital would require that a person stay, and the union would say, "You're the new person, you stay." That's how it works. And so you, as the low person on the totem pole, you just get screwed all the time until someone else comes along. And that's how it is. So it's not always good. They're not always looking out for you. Sometimes they, just like anywhere else, they sacrifice their own. That's the thing. All these people that are like, oh, it's this and this and that, and unions are great, and blah, 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 down with the corporations. It's like, corporation's a hierarchy, so is a union. And then they're like, well, down with hierarchies, that's why communism is good. It's like, that will never work. It's the same thing. Like they Chaz or Chop or whatever it was, all these in Seattle, the lawless zones, and they're like, this is a free love area. And you know what happened? A freaking gangster took over. Because that's what happens. Eventually, if it's all about who has force, controls these things. It's just, I don't know. Anyway, that's just like how the developer of this got their company taken away from them. The dude that started the company got forced out of the company because he believed in his workers, and what did they do? They pushed him out, or whatever exactly happened. I don't know. Anyway.
Personally, I'd rather beg than scam. If the gentleman shouting on the street came begging, maybe they'd have gotten something.
Nod. Have you tried? So I have to choose. Have you tried talking to them? Let's say nod.
We've explained the matters, but they don't listen. This lot would be reasonable and go home if the big guy wasn't riling them up all the time.
Okay, anyway. I'm not a scab, I'm a cop. Proceed.
I was just messing with you. No one's ever seen a cop scab.
Okay.
Imagine, you cops going on a strike, but then another cop comes in and says, let us cop for less money.
Chuckles then realizes.
Speaking of, what brings the RCM here? To the Wild North? Come to see the strife?
Come to Martinez investigating murder.
Murder, huh? That sounds like a lot of hard work. You'd never see me investigating a murder.
Very fun and easy. It's almost impossible. I have no idea what I'm doing. Maybe you want to help me solve it by telling me who did it.
Of course, Policia. It wasn't me. You can rule me out. Easier that way.
He didn't do it. It's the truth.
Okay. I need to know what's behind these gates I'm exploring.
My friend, I respect the right to roam. The open range awaits.
Gazes over the roundabout with a glint of longing. Does that mean you can let me through the
I
gate?
don't operate in that capacity. I'm not a granter of passage. The passage grants itself.
Okay.
If it's all so simple, why don't the strikebreakers just go up the stairs?
That's simple. I just walk in.
Aye. Walk right past Measurehead and go in.
Past Measurehead.
Yeah, the 2.5 meter tall Semini supremacist there. Walk right past him.
This dude. Oh, there's ladies up there too, huh? Right.
Then press the button to unlock the door.
Uh-huh.
Then go past him again.
Okay.
And you enter the arbor through the office. Está.
So you're saying it's actually quite difficult.
Don't worry, I'm sure it's not completely impossible. For example, you could best Measurehead in a physical confrontation.
I bet had I chosen the physical dude, I could.
Or you could convert to a Semini supremacist worldview. Or, maybe it actually is completely impossible.
Is Seminese supremacist worldview. So is this the Seminese supremacist? Is that the same dude as the lorry driver? Or is that a different one? Anyone here ever bested him as a physical
Not
confrontation?
yet, no. He's incredibly strong.
Has any of the scabs tried converting to his worldview?
Jean-Luc himself would say the philosophy has proven overly heroic for the scabs to convert to. Not enough intuition.
I don't know what that means, but I'm curious. Alright, another thing.
Sure,
A bit short on money. Could you give me some?
sure thing, my friend. I can help you out.
Hand-eye coordination. He flips a coin towards you. Try to catch it. Sure. Nice.
The coin lands into your hand as if it has always belonged there. The swallow returns.
Appreciated.
Always glad to help out the RCM. Shame I can't do more. Things are meager at the moment due to...
Nod towards the protesters.
You know, the winter's fat is slowly running out and all. Still better than scabbing though.
The Union has problems getting by.
Nothing to worry about really. The jam's a bit of a mess, cargo can't get in or out. The rationing is a bit stricter is all. Supplies should last the strike though.
Every little bit helps, you know.
I'm always glad to help out when possible. Not like these slithering scabs.
What's the strike about anyway?
You know, serious business. I'm sure the big boss will be glad to tell you. You'll have to ask him first.
Okay.
He's a chatty guy. Wants to talk about the strike too. Just can't break the command structure and tell you now.
Fair enough. Nice talk, gotta get moving. Alright, I'd leave. I don't want to get beaten up. Can I go down here? Yeah, so go up there and talk to that dude. And maybe you can get in. But I'm not super interested in getting in at the moment. You're not... Whatever your criminals, I need this. It says Greater Revachol Industrial Harbor. Okay. Well, we'll talk to this dude. Pull out our map. Martinez waterfront. So we're over here, I guess? I don't know. Okay. How we doing? We'll talk to this guy.
Bastards! We have a right to work!
Okay, man yells towards the harbor. He's the scab leader. Man yells towards the harbor gates. His voice is the loudest a lot, oddly screechy for a man his size. Okay, so... These are the dudes that are protesting the strike? Is that how that works? What's going on here?
Hold up and stay frosty, everyone. Cops are here.
Broad-shouldered alpha male turns to you. He's a full head taller than everybody else here.
You here to fuck with us? Beat the honest worker down.
Why should I?
We're here to fight for a cause. Stripes usually have problems with people who have causes.
Okay, then I'm thinking no.
Good. We're fighting for a cause here.
Right to work! Right to work!
Besides, we're not that different. It helps if people see us talking, cops and strikebreakers together. Shows authorities are on our side. Builds confidence.
What kind of a cause are we talking about?
Rights of people. Rights of workers. To have gainful employment. To make a salary. And feed their families.
His manner of speaking is wooden, the tone of voice bland and uninspired, almost as if compiling replies from a set of learned phrases.
Okay, so he's been... Well, I mean, that's typically how it goes. A lot of protesters are... How to put this? They're not they're useful idiots. They're foot soldiers. They're not thinking on their own. You ever wonder why all these protesters have the same signs as if someone funded them? That's why. because they're being funded. They're tools to be used. They're pawns. I don't think I've chosen any sides yet.
Might be time. Don't let the fat bastards tread on you. Cops tend to side with the higher-ups, but you're essentially still workers. I don't trust cops, but I can see you understand the right to work! Right to work!
Regardless, I have questions for you.
Maybe you should ask them the questions, like why we're not allowed to make a living here.
Shame on you!
We have families to feed, you piece of shit.
Points his finger at the man sitting on the railing.
So do we, Scott.
The loitering man hollers in return. I want to get into the harbor too.
Have fun. Union shits are on full strike. Don't think they're going to let you through the gates. I'm trying to meet their fat boss.
Oh, the union leaders in the harbor, is that why? I'm interviewing people about a murder that took place here behind the hostel cafeteria there.
I know nothing about a murder.
Absolutely
Wouldn't
nothing.
put it past these harbor bugs. They'd do anything to stay alive.
Right to work!
It's shameful. Cops doing nothing. You should bring backup. Open up the gates for us. Blockading gainful employment for workers is a crime.
This really isn't my area of expertise.
We are not picking a side in this just yet, sir.
Pity.
Let us work!
What is a strike?
When a bunch of ungrateful, lazy cockroaches can't get their act together, decide to block honest work for other people.
Shifts uncomfortably in his workers' overalls. What do the strikers want?
Beats me. They mumble nonsense about boardrooms and workers' rights, while we
Have the right to work!
There's something odd in the way he carries himself. His set of clothing looks vaguely mismatched. The different pieces of the attire seem ill-fitting.
So, like, he's not actually a worker? Ill-fitting, what does that mean?
His shirt is far too small and an unpleasantly tight fit, while the overalls, held up by a belt, seem to fit a man with much more corpulence.
Wearing new clothes?
He ignores your question, choosing instead to turn to the emaciated workers, raising both fists in the air. The clothes are obviously not his.
That's interesting.
Silence is the answer. There's something off here, but he won't say what.
So the strike... What is this, like a proxy war or something? Who are all these strike breakers? Look around.
Honest men and women with rights to work, to be useful, not toys for corporate interests.
The man runs a hand through his steadily graying military haircut. Interesting.
We came here to help the harbor run smoothly in time of crisis. If union fucks don't want work, they ought to let in those who do want work.
Yep.
I have a question. Why do all these men follow your leadership?
It's a great question.
You think they follow because I'm big and loud? No. They follow the rules of the market, the rules of the economy, because they were
Given a job to do!
So they were brought in from somewhere else. I mean, that's typically what strike breakers do, but they're not... Scab and strike breakers are... I don't know.
You've been talking to him for quite a while now. Something is off with this guy. Ask him where he's from.
Okay, gotta ask, where exactly are you from?
What's it to you?
Deep-set suspicion drips from every syllable. Curiosity, gonna figure out the strike mess. Routine, part of the investigation. Thought you looked real familiar for a second there. We'll say routine.
Am I a suspect? Done no crimes. I only fight for the rights of people.
Continue.
Every once in a while, it's like you can see glimpses of another guy under the guise of this fighter for jobs. He seems a more brutal, cunning, and suspicious person. Just a hunch. Or you just might be paranoid.
Already got that. I'm gonna keep prying. Already got that. I'm interested in your background.
We're all workers, right?
Workers stick together. Came from the eminent domain, in Jamrock. Backgrounds in odd jobs, heavy lifting, cargo hauling, bouncer work. I know the drill.
Bouncer where frequent a lot of bars. Sweet, I know bar has been thrown out from several. Maybe that's why you seem familiar. Don't really drink, but work has taken me to some. Which one was it? Like, which... Do I say this to be like, no, I'm... what's the word? Recovering from alcoholism or whatever. Let's say number 3.
Worked at Territorial. Ring a bell?
Not right now, but it might have been there. Don't really remember things well.
Uh-huh. It was a long time ago.
What exactly is your goal here? Okay, well, that was... I mean, I'm sure if I picked the right questions, then maybe we would have gotten something, but maybe not.
We were promised work. We'd be in there, working, if the bastards hadn't shut the gates.
And you were unable to breach the entrance?
Main gate's locked. Would take heavy ordnance to bust it open. But try to get in through the secretary's office. Door's locked. The guards blocking the way to the access panel.
Points up the stairs, doors locked, guards blocking the way to the access panel.
And I don't mean the scrawny nest punk either. I mean head measurer. Or whatever he is.
Head measure?
Huge Seminese guy standing up there on the overhead passage. Won't let anyone by. The access panel is right behind it.
How bad could one guy be? You seem capable.
Bad. Standing on a narrow bridge, he's got a strategically advantageous position. And he's trained.
Breakthrough, almost.
I don't know how the Union has a trained killer up there. But that one's no joke. And my men are tired and hungry. They're workers, not fighters.
Have you considered storming in like all of you?
Why don't you go arrest them instead? I'm sure they've done plenty of criminal shit. They have that look.
It would be better for the neighborhood if you went home, at least for now, if you can't get in anyway.
No! They will give up eventually. Or get drunk. Leave the button unguarded. Then we charge.
The man rubs his jaw. Perfect, lightly bearded, square wedge. Okay, I'm just gonna leave now. Okay. Thought complete.
Bad news. Guillaume Lemillion did not become a cop. In 38, he went on a tour to the Sinyao province in Safre, where he died of autoerotic asphyxiation. His body was found hanging from a decorative dragon tree in his junior suite, amid drug paraphernalia, unwholesome objects, and the Sylvia Trainer single, Wonderland, skipping in the background. And yes, you can take this as a metaphor for Revachol in the 30s, and also as a warning.
Okay. Oh, interesting. So bonuses. +1 pain threshold, blood, oxygen is boring. All psyche learning caps raised by 1. That's cool. Oh, you could forget, but it takes a skill point, presumably. Alright, well. Oh yeah, there you go. All the caps are up. Okay, well, you know, sure. Gut feelings, dreams. Understand others. Yeah, sure. You know, whatever. I realize there's skill points. I could, should I just spend them? Should I just spend them? I don't know. Oh, well, I didn't read all these. I don't want to. So let's just wait. Okay. Well, all right, cool. Can I go this way? Can I go this way? Foreign car, good condition. There's that statue.
An old monument stands in the middle of the traffic island, pointing toward the sea. It looks as if it's been reassembled piece by piece, secured and mounted in the air with the aid of numerous ropes and rods.
Who is
A
this?
silver plaque on the statue's pedestal reads, "I am Philip III, the Squanderer, the greatest of the Philippian kings of Revachol, son of Philip II, the opulent, father of Philip IV, the insane."
Fair
As
enough.
you look up, you notice something about the statue. There are some odd indentations on the king's chest piece.
Do I click on this one first? Let's do indentations. What do I see?
Something with great kinetic energy seems to have impacted the cuirass, around where the heart is. A bullet?
Probably from us.
Someone shot him in the heart. Interesting.
Lieutenant, has someone shot the king? Point to the indentation.
Okay, I can't see it, but I take your word for it.
What do you think?
Well, Martinez is riddled with bullet holes. This place saw a lot of action during the revolution. But the statue is recently renovated, so maybe a joke? Target practice or a political statement?
Yes, practical joke, target practice, political. It's a king and he's shot, or none of the above. Maybe it's connected to the murderer. I mean, if I had to guess, I would say 3. Let's say 3.
Why not? What this shows us is guns aren't too uncommon here, and people still shoot them, sometimes at kings.
Takes a note in his notebook. There's one of the the loading screen shows us on top of the dude, but maybe when it's, I don't think it's like this though. I don't know.
The king stands high above you, surveying the bay, mute and indifferent to your sightings.
All right, what did this king do?
Even by the standards of the Philippian kings, old sumptuous Philip was known for his profligacy.
In what way?
Well, he blew through the whole national treasury, starting the decline of one of the penultimate century's greatest superpowers, the suzerain of Revachol.
Okay.
His own maladministration foreshadowed the fall of the monarchy. During the anti-centennial revolution, an end to his family line and the monarchy on the Insulindian Isola.
If I keep listening to this, does it get me experience, or does it just waste my time? Let's say number 1.
Stories have it that he had his bedroom converted into a treasure chamber, where he stored unfathomable wealth. Krugerrands, bars of gold, ornate weaponry, armor, and various chalices.
Okay.
He called it the Sol Aurum. It was obscene. There were whispers he slept on a huge pile of gold-dipped feathers, like some obese dragon, instead of a bed, like a normal person.
I would like to sleep on gold, hustler style.
But wait, you haven't even heard about his fabled cocaine addiction.
The what now?
You see, old Philippe wasn't just good at squandering the national treasury on gold and ceremonial weaponry. He was also a prodigious snorter of nose candy.
Okay, let's skip this. Where is he buried now?
Beneath the cold waters of the Insulindian Bay, thrown there by the revolutionaries after they cleaned out the royal mausoleum.
What happened to the statue?
The original was blown apart by communards, then further damaged during the landing of the coalition's airships during the turn-of-the-century revolution, when Martinez was leveled.
Fair enough.
Most historians think the coalition's hasty landing may have ultimately saved the statue. If the communards had more time, they would have reduced it up to even finer pieces.
Okay, who restored the monument?
Some years ago, a group of liberal, artistically inclined individuals, designers mostly, thought it would be ironic to restore the statue of the most wasteful ruler of Revachol in the poorest part of the city.
Okay.
The statue is supposed to capture the moment it was blown apart, like an instant frozen in time, a rare butterfly trapped in amber, floating on a sea of shit.
See, it's just the writing. I really don't get art.
Neither do people in Martinez. The statue has proved to be controversial in a neighborhood mostly populated by the left-leaning working class.
Yeah.
Those critics might have it wrong, though. There's more to it than just ironism. But you can't say what precisely. Perhaps this art mystery will be solved at a later time.
Okay.
Philip III, the Squanderer, however, with his bronze face up in the air, doesn't seem concerned about what the hoi polloi think of him in death.
Okay, I've heard the term hoi polloi before, but let's figure this. Let's learn a little something something. What is hoi polloi? Hoi polloi. Hoi polloi meaning. Hoi polloi is a term derived from ancient Greek meaning the many or masses. In modern English, often used in a somewhat derogatory way, refer to the common people, the general public, or the average person, imply a sense of superiority or a disdain for those who are not considered part of an elite group. Sure. Good enough. Okay. Yeah.
Not that he ever did in life either.
Okay, leave. Alright, can we do... We have a couple minutes left. Let's check on this. Take all money. Yay, we're bumming around. We are Hobocop. I mean, we're not. We're not Hobocop. Thoughts. Okay, that's all we got at the moment. Should I just spend some of these? My thought is to put it into psyche because we have good intellect and we don't have good psyche, so you know what? No, we haven't read them yet. Let's just save here and quit. Okay. My goodness. Okay, let's delete this one. Delete this one. And we'll save over this one. Yes. Okay. Okay, well, yeah, okay. Yeah, so I did, between the last episode and this episode, I was like, how long to beat Disco Elysium, and said, you know, a quick playthrough is like 25 hours, I think. A completionist playthrough is 47. Main plus some of the extras is 33. My gosh, I hope the map is the world map, because if it's not, this is gonna take forever. Anyway, guys, that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for your time and attention. Really do appreciate it. Really, if you guys are enjoying these episodes, you know, it's whatever. It's something to do. You know. Oh, I'm petting my kitty right now. He's adorable. Let's give him some food. And what else? Yeah, questions, comments, concerns, good, better, and different. Let me hear them. I do read all of them. I do try and respond to all of them as well. What is your guys' unique positive moment for today? Pretty sure I said the hot water last time, but I honestly don't remember. Let's go for Manny being in my lap, because he is adorable. And literally right before I started recording that episode. This episode, the last episode, don't remember. I had to break up a cat fight. They're crazy. And I could tell because Jack went in there. Like, Manny went into the spare room, and then Jack saw him go in there and got down and started, like, kind of stalking in there. And I'm like, yep, okay, I'm gonna have to break him up. And I did. Right, Mr. Manny? Yep. Anyway. Maybe I should get a third cat, throw off the power balance. You know? But, you know, it's fine. Anyway, that's my unique positive moment. Hopefully your guys just as good, if not better. Hopefully better, of course. And I hope to see you guys next time. Till then, guys, take care.